Can you imagine getting dumped because you were too good or too thoughtful or too perfect? Well, it's more common than you might think. And when it happens, it leaves a person devastated because it seems so unfair. That's why in this video, I'll explain how and why being too perfect can cause you to be taken for granted and even dumped. And I'll tell you exactly how to prevent that from happening to you. So don't go anywhere because we're starting in 3 seconds. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Antonio Borrello. Welcome to another video. This channel is all about helping you build great relationships so you can grow happy with the people you love. And when trying to build great relationships, sometimes people go overboard and cause the opposite to happen. It's when one person is trying so hard to be this amazing partner. They're being thoughtful and loving and selfless. They put so much effort into the relationship. It's like they're the perfect girlfriend, yet they get taken for granted and unappreciated and told things like, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. And even worse, the other person ends the relationship because they aren't feeling the same way they did at first. But it doesn't have to be that way. Let me tell you about Amber so you can understand how and why it happened to her. Amber is a very attractive, intelligent, and successful 30-year-old nurse who's as beautiful on the inside as she is on the outside. She's a former model and college athlete with wit that is only matched by her charm. She's always warm and welcoming. I mean, she's the girl who refused to go to prom with a date and instead arranged a group date for all the people in her high school who were dateless. And she decided to become a nurse because she loves helping and caring for others. A few years ago, Amber was engaged in living with Ryan, a young doctor she met at the hospital where she worked. And the couple had been dating for about a year when Ryan proposed. And shortly thereafter, the couple moved into an apartment together and planned to marry after Ryan completed his residency. But that's not what happened. The relationship started taking a turn after they were living together for a little bit. Ryan worked long hours and struggled to keep up with the demands of his medical program. He was constantly overstressed, and to help him sleep, he began drinking nightly. And at first, it was only a glass of wine at night or at bedtime, but before long, he was drinking more than a bottle every night. And while drinking, Ryan became verbally abusive and angry. He started belittling Amber and he called her stupid and worse. And this behavior escalated until one night he pushed her and he caused her to trip and sprain her wrist. And when Ryan refused to seek help for his drinking problem, Amber decided to end the relationship. So she broke off the engagement and moved out of the apartment. Amber was devastated. She missed the old Ryan and was heartbroken by the fact that he did nothing to get help and to reconcile their relationship. She even quit her job at the hospital to avoid having to interact with Ryan on a daily basis. Over the next several months, Amber spent a significant amount of time thinking about her relationship and trying to understand how it got so bad. She was committed to understanding and learning from it, and she promised herself that she would never allow herself to be in an abusive relationship again. She began reading relationship and self-help books and focused on growing from her experience. She was also hired at another hospital and found herself feeling happier and more confident. And Amber had many opportunities to date, but she wanted to wait until she was completely over Ryan. And after about a year, she started feeling that she might be ready to dip her toe into the dating pool and test out the waters. Amber's sister and brother-in-law met online, so Amber thought it might be a good place for her to start. So she logged on to Match.com and created her first online dating profile. Within hours, dozens of email messages from attractive and successful and eligible men filled her mailbox. She communicated with many of them through a series of messages, and she even exchanged phone numbers with the 3 men she found most interesting. Over the next few weeks, she met and went on a date with each of them. And her first 2 dates seemed nice enough, but neither would come close to the attraction and chemistry that she felt when she met Jacob. So Jacob was this handsome and athletic 34-year-old banker. He was tall with wavy black hair and green eyes, and Amber was immediately attracted. On their first date, the conversation was natural and fluid, and Jacob had Amber laughing the whole night. They held hands as they walked to her car, and the couple kissed passionately before saying goodnight. And as she drove away, she could hardly contain her excitement. She immediately called her best friend to tell her about the date and how much fun they had. The next day, Amber thought about Jacob most of the day. She joked with her girlfriend saying, I thought he was out of my league. And she blushed like a teenager when talking about the chemistry that she felt. And their second date was even better than the first one and resulted in the couple hanging out until the wee hours of the morning. From that point forward, they would see each other nearly every day and quickly decided to date each other exclusively. And as you can imagine, the couple's affection for one another grew quickly, and Amber was proud to tell her friends and family that they never argued or fought. And Amber was very good at pampering her man, and she took good care of him. She sent him text messages throughout the day to remind him of her affection and love. And she surprised him with little gifts and cards and did thoughtful favors for Jacob, like cleaning his apartment without him even asking. And everyone loved Amber. Friends and family often complimented her thoughtfulness and told her that she was the best thing that ever happened to Jacob. Even Jacob admitted that no one had ever treated him so well or loved him so much. Yet he hardly returned her favors. Nevertheless, Amber convinced herself that she was being selfless and loving and ideal, so she continued to do this. Now, to an outsider, their young relationship might have appeared to be perfect. Indeed, the couple hardly disagreed with one another, but this was mostly because Amber went along with and agreed with everything Jacob wanted. The same was true with regard to friends and activities. The couple spent most of their time together engaging in Jacob's hobbies and with his friends and family. And Amber no longer called her girlfriends to make plans, nor did she insist that they do things with her family. Now, most of us can relate to this scenario in some way. In fact, relationships like Amber's are very common. I mean, do you know of anyone who has engaged in similar behaviors or similar relationships? Or maybe Amber's relationship is similar to one that you've personally experienced. Let me know in the comments section if you've known of someone or of a relationship that has started out this way. Either way, there are several possible explanations for Amber's pattern of behavior. See, Amber secretly hoped that if she treated Jacob extremely well, he would fall deeply in love with her and begin to inquire about and fulfill her needs without her ever having to ask for them. Amber subscribed to the belief that people will like you more if you always agree to their ideas or activity choices. She also believes that her thoughtfulness and agreeableness and love should get the same in return. Unfortunately, Amber's turn never came and the relationship remained lopsided. And after about a year together, Amber began feeling disappointed with her relationship. She knew that she did so much for Jacob and she put in way more time and energy and felt like she loved him more than he loved her. And her agreeableness started to wear thin, and she started to resent Jacob, feeling neglected or taken advantage of. Her resentment led to repeated arguments and fighting, and Amber became more insecure with the relationship. Jacob also sensed her insecurity and felt that Amber had grown more needy. And before long, Jacob began feeling like something was missing from the relationship. He told Amber that he loved her, but he wasn't in love with her. He told her that something was missing, that his feelings had changed, and that they had grown apart. And Jacob thought it was best that they stop dating and just try to be friends. And again, Amber was devastated and heartbroken. She couldn't believe what he was telling her. But deep down, she knew that Jacob didn't love her the way she loved him. She felt like she had given the relationship all that she could give. She felt angry and disappointed in herself for giving so much to someone who didn't appreciate her. She just couldn't believe that she was in this situation and she didn't know what to do. So, what's going on here? How could Jacob walk away from this wonderful woman? Well, here's what happened. Amber began the relationship with the best of intentions. She wanted to be the best girlfriend possible. She wanted to be in an amazing, loving, and respectful relationship. But as she told her girlfriend after their first date, she may have felt a bit insecure. Remember, she told her girlfriend that she thought he was out of her league? This underlying insecurity motivated the way she interacted with Jacob. She liked him a lot and she really wanted him to return the feelings. So she went out of her way to be the best girlfriend she could be. She wanted to be the sweetest and most thoughtful and most agreeable girlfriend. So she attempted to love everything that Jacob loved, including his friends and family and hobbies. Amber tried to make herself the woman she thought would be most impressive to Jacob and win his heart. But this required Amber to constantly self-observe and be on her best behavior for prolonged periods of time. Engaging in such behavior is incredibly stressful and eventually causes feelings of resentment and depression or anger towards the partner and oneself. And when a person engages in self-deception like Amber did, they create an experience and a belief about themselves that is far from objective or accurate. Then they use self-justification to explain and defend and glorify their thoughts and behaviors. That's the part where she tells herself that she's being thoughtful and selfless. But unfortunately, by blinding herself to her true motivations and feelings, she unwittingly sabotaged her own efforts for happy and satisfying relationship. So the question is, why didn't Jacob fall madly in love with her? After all, she was the perfect girlfriend. Well, that's not how life or love works. Unfortunately, we don't value the people or the things that come too easy or are too available. That's because value is related to investment. The fact is that we like, appreciate, and commit to the things and people we invest our time, energy, and money into. The more we invest in someone, the more we like and appreciate them as a result. Things and people we don't invest in are somehow less valued. So if you're the one doing all the investing, the relationship becomes lopsided and you'll be taken for granted and unappreciated. And when things get difficult, it's the partner who has invested the least that is more willing to call it quits and walk away. But you'd think that they have so much more to lose, but that's not how it works. Because Amber invested so much more time and energy into the relationship, her love for Jacob grew. On the other hand, Jacob did not work hard to win Amber's heart. So his affection remained flat, Amber felt taken for granted and unappreciated, and Jacob thought that something was missing. See, healthy relationships require sharing the effort and the work. That means sharing the decisions on choosing restaurants and deciding on movies to see. Happy couples share in deciding who they spend time with, the music they listen to in the car, and the TV shows they watch together. But they also share in helping one another with everyday chores and taking care of each other's needs. And it can be difficult for some people to do this. Some people are very agreeable and are constantly putting the needs and desires of others before their own. And if this is you, be careful. This behavior is not sustainable and in time will cause you to resent your partner. Instead, let your partner invest in you. And when they do, they are increasing their feelings of love and appreciation for you. But better yet, invest in one another equally. Share in giving and receiving and you will both be more satisfied. I do have good news though. If you know someone in this situation or if you've been in a similar situation, you can turn things around and get the relationship back on track. I've actually made a video that deals with this very issue and you can click here to watch that video now. Or if you want to know more about my story, the story of how I became a divorce marriage therapist, you can click on this video right now. I'll see you in the next one.